The Emissary idles above the atmosphere of the frozen planet, the crew finally taking some time to catch their breath after their encounter with Bravus Boss and the Plutonian Titan droid. The crew has had virtually no time to process their discovery that they are not, in fact, in a different galaxy, but instead have traveled approximately 2 billion years into the future. As CB emerges from the engine room, his face covered in grease and soot, a perfectly clean patch where some goggles were clearly strapped tightly around his head, Reagan sets the base guitar rifle against a wall in the Emissary's dining quarters and sits heavily at the table. CB pours some coffee, which Reagan, Seven, and Cora accept, and he briefs the crew on the status of the newly installed dark matter engine.
Well, I'm not gonna bore you with all the techno mumbo jumbo, but the new dark matter engine is in and it's working like a treat. We should have smooth sailing back to Bulbossa, assuming that's where we're going, Ray.
Great job, CB, as per usual. Wouldn't trust anyone else to put that in there. And as far as I'm concerned, yeah. We have the completer, we have Sylvia, it's in the future, which is weird, but all things considered, I think we came out okay.
But is it not a problem to you that the Bulbies are the guys who blew up Earth in the whole first place?
I mean, don't love it. They didn't blow it up, though.
Well, they mined it into a husk.
Which we would have done anyway. I'm surprised we made it 2 billion years, to be frank.
That's fair enough. You're sure taking that in stride, Ray. I'm impressed.
We're also in the bizarre situation where it's going to be a time rift, so I don't know if we get back, if somehow that knowledge can go anywhere. I don't know if anyone would believe us coming through a rift saying how 2 billion years the Earth is going to end. I mean, it feels like a lot.
Well, that's if we even decide to go back, right?
Yeah, that too.
I mean, I gotta say, Ray, there's something awful nice about being in a world that doesn't have any semblance of law or overreaching government entities. I mean, we could be free to be whoever we want to be out here.
I know. And while that idea appeals to me, I'm also not sure what everyone else wants.
What the hell are you guys talking about? We need to go back. We need to kill all of the Bulbossans before they do any of this.
Well, we're in the future, so if we kill them now, it's already happened.
I mean, back to our time.
Oh, this is hurting my brain a little bit, but don't the Bulbies come in and invade, like, way in the future still from when we came from, but in the past for here?
Mm-hmm. There's no direct way to get to when that was, and even still, we don't know when.
Wallace might know. Hey, Wallace, can you check your history log for when the Great Bulby attack of Terra 2 was?
Of course, CB. The Grand Glorious Bulby expansion took place approximately 2 billion years ago. But I assume you are speaking in reference to when the Emissary traveled through the rift.
Yeah.
In that case, 30 years after the ship's departure.
Oh wow, sooner than I thought.
Not for me. Wendigans only lived to be about 50 years old. I don't think I'd make it that long.
How old are you anyway?
I'm 28 years old, but that's more like 56 to a Wendigan.
Every person that has gone through that rift has ended up in this time, and every single piece of debris from this time has ended up back in our time. Oh god, this is confusing. Whatever, we need to go back. We need to figure out how this completer works and go home.
Suddenly, an alarm on Cora's wrist bracer beeps.
Cora, without a beat, leaves.
Where the heck did she just go?
Beats me.
When she said kill all Bulbies?
The medbay doors open, revealing an unconscious Sylvia laying down on the surgery table. She is dressed in what appear to be white scrubs, which contrast wildly with her long black hair, and a long IV drip descends from the ceiling, pumping a sedative into her arm. But Cora breezes right past and goes to a timer on the wall, which now reads 0.
Oh damn. Wallace, what can you tell me?
A display on the machine analyzing the serum blinks on, and rows of code fire across the screen. Cora keeps pace with the scrolling text.
Cora reaches for the PA system, about to call her colleagues down, when she remembers the video she found on her home planet. She pulls the video out of her pocket, plugs it in to Wallace's control system, and presses play.
The little tablet from the Glacian bomb shelter comes to life as it's plugged in, a low battery sign flashing before the frozen frame of a Glacian peering into the camera mid-sentence comes up on a little screen. Cora watches the entirety of the video, and then reaches over for the PA system.
Can you guys come down here?
After about a minute, the rest of the crew joins Cora in the medbay.
Yeah, is Sylvia awake?
Cora presses play for Reagan, Cheeseburgers, and 7.
The recorded movie begins to play, a clearly frantic Glacian half shouting at the camera.
Of the GCC. I repeat, this message is for any ranking military official of the GCC. My name is Bryn Coldwater of Glacian Defense Division, Sector 89. We have come under attack again, the same creatures as before. We have not been able to establish contact for lack of common language, and any general attempts at peacemaking have failed completely. It's as if they have no regard for their lives. They fight recklessly, and, God, it's like they're enjoying it. We've seen groups of drones picking up their bodies and transporting them back to the ship post-conflict and are theorizing that... Oh no, they're here. Send the Armada! Send the whole Armada! Do you hear me? I know, Masso, I know! I just need to send it... Wait, no. You bastard!
The tablet clearly goes flying out of the Glacian's hands and scuttles across the floor, now showing a view of the ceiling.
Geez, what are these guys yelling about? It's just an invasion. You'd think non-disintegration death was like a big deal or something.
Well, yes, Private Squim 9. That's why the glorious Overlord ordered the invasion of this solar system. They haven't discovered any regeneration formula yet. It's easy pickings.
Oh, well, that explains the extreme reaction. Oh, well, what's the next target?
Looks like we're going off-world to that planet full of tall, fleshy aliens. You know, with the stringy stuff on top of their heads. Supposed to be a huge polyethylene deposit there.
Thank God, I'm freezing my butt off on this stupid rock.
Hey, beats the detail on that planet they're calling Bulbossa now. Apparently, there's all this red sand across the whole thing, and Overlord Zilch is having everyone dye it all pink to match his skin tone.
Whoa, that is genius.
Of course, he's the most brilliant mind of our time, but also, you could be painting dirt, kid.
Fair enough. Still looking forward to the change of pace. Hey, these next aliens are the ones filled with all that red stuff, right?
The Bulbies can be heard leaving, and the video continues to record the ceiling silently. Wallace scans the video forward quickly, indicating no more auditory or visual change until the device runs out of batteries and goes dormant.
Cora stares daggers at 7 as she says this. Wallace, where's the original Bulbossa?
The original Bulbossa is in the Black Sector, undiscovered by the GCC. A dark matter jump from Earth to the Black Sector would constitute 25 years travel time and more fuel than any ship in the GCC is capable of transporting.
Here's what I'm proposing. I say we go back to this time's Bulbossa, kill every single one on that planet, and then go back in time and warn them of the impending attack.
So we're talking just a classic revenge play, right?
Yes.
7 is unable to make eye contact with Cora and just twiddles his long fingers. I am so sorry, and I'm with you all on whatever you decide to do, but you have to understand, attacking Zilch and Bulbossa, it is suicide.
Zilch is 2 billion years old?
Bulbossans have no sense of remorse or empathy. They don't care about our lives because they have this. Cora takes out the vial that she's been testing and shoves it in Reagan's hands. The serum regenerates any tissue and brings it back to life if it's dead. They do whatever they want because they can. They can live forever with no consequences.
Well, what's in it? Can we make any of it? Or is the tech too advanced?
We can recreate it. It's made out of organic material, star flare residue, and from what I can tell, sweat. Bulbossan sweat.
What? But Prime said that us clones would... He said that we would die. Did Prime lie to me?
Welcome to the world.
He is a Flobus Jopna.
Now he's getting it.
I don't trust you. How do we know this isn't an act?
Cora, roll an insight check.
7.
You're not quite sure what to make of it.
I say we kill him.
That doesn't make you any better than them. 7, do you want to defend yourself?
Yes, I have 2 things to say, I think. 1, you all know how I'm a narcissist, right?
No.
Oh,
Well, if I join you and go back to your time, and we do what Cora's proposing, I'll be the only Bulby in the world. In the universe. And that sounds delicious. Second, I can sweat for you as long as you want me to. I will start right now. 7 starts doing pop squats. Well, now I'm tired, but you understand my point.
I have 2 points too. I'm proposing we kill to protect ourselves. That's why we're better than them. They kill for resources, willy-nilly, and have no regard for anyone else's life. Second, why would we want to recreate a serum that has created the most narcissistic race of aliens that has ever existed? Oh, and third, I hate you. Cora tries to gauge Seven's reaction.
Make an insight check.
19.
Cora, it hits you as you look at the panting Bulby. He's being 100% genuine.
Regardless of whether or not you're telling the truth, you're a clone of one of the most evil creatures to have walked this galaxy. Who's to say you won't turn on us in the future anyway?
Don't you remember when the Earth was inducted peacefully into the GCC? That wasn't democratic. That was a takeover, and yet you're working for them. And here, we have a new alien species that's willing to work with us. Isn't this why you joined? And here we have the serum that could be an answer to our problem. I can't imagine what you're going through, and I can't imagine what it was like to have seen that firsthand. We have the opportunity to make things better, and killing anybody here won't do anything. But our knowledge might.
That statement hangs in the air, but Wallace interrupts.
Pardon my interruption, but I am updating you as requested. I am about to re-administer the patient's dosage of sedative. Shall I continue, or would you like me to awaken her?
Is it safe to bring her out?
Yes.
Then bring her out.
The IV drip immediately retracts from Sylvia's arm. A minute goes by in silence. Then 2.
Greetings, new occupant. I am the ship's working and living autonomous companion entity, more simply known by the acronym Wallace. My function is to ease life aboard the ship. What may I call you?
Sylvia's eyes flutter open, and she sits up slowly, her head in her hands. And then she looks up, immediately locking eyes with Reagan. Her bright blue eyes focused in a sharp as an arrow gaze. Her face is just like Reagan's, though slightly rounder.
Reagan is visibly nervous.
Hey. Sylvia squints. Several seconds pass before a look of recognition on her face turns to confusion. She takes Reagan in as her eyes fill with tears. Reagan?
You can see Reagan's very hesitant, still waiting to see just how Sylvia is going to fully react to her presence. But nothing could cover the unmistakable joy you can see in her eyes at the sight of her sister. With a tight-lipped smile, she nods.
I did not register a response. I will repeat myself. My function is to ease life aboard the ship. What may I call you?
Ignoring Wallace, Sylvia slowly stands, takes 2 steps towards Reagan, and immediately collapses on the floor.
CB rushes over and attempts to catch her as she falls.
CB, make a dexterity check.
13.
CB catches Sylvia before she falls.
Nice to meet you. My name is Cheeseburgers, but you can call me CB because you're a sister of Reagan, and any sister of Reagan is a friend of mine.
What the hell? Get off. What are you? Get off me. Sylvia feebly tries to swat CB off of her.
Hey now, whoa.
Please do not strain yourself, new occupant. You should rest and replenish fluids, making sure to urinate frequently.
Reagan goes to Sylvia and helps put her back on the table. So this is my ship, the Emissary, and this is CB. He's my first space mate.
Yo.
And this is Dr. Cora Icehill. She works for the GCC.
Hello.
And the pink thing is named Seven. He's new.
And evil.
Sylvia spots Seven in the corner of the room and immediately tries to reach for any weapon around her.
Sylvia finds a scalpel on the table next to her.
Sylvia starts to frantically scream, waving the scalpel, lunging towards Seven.
Kill Reagan attempts to restrain Sylvia.
Reagan, make a grapple check with advantage. Sylvia, make one with disadvantage.
10.
9.
Reagan just barely catches Sylvia by the elbows.
Hey, no. You probably had one of these on your ship, huh? They're not the same. They all look the same, but they're not the same.
That's technically not true. They're all clones of the same being, so...
Even clones can have variants. Okay, different time.
Yeah, you don't know how clones work.
Cora snatches the vial back from Reagan. No, I literally know how clones work.
I know, you're so smart.
CB scrambles onto the highest platform in the room. Everybody shut the heck up for 1 second, jeez, hello. Sorry, listen, you're all going a little fast here. I mean, Sylvia, no offense, it's very nice to meet your acquaintance, but you just came out of a freaking coma, and you're waving a knife all over the place. I don't think you're in the right headspace to be making these big decisions. And Cora, same deal. Didn't anybody ever tell you, before you make a decision, you take a deep breath and you count to 10, because you should never make a decision angry.
Wait, but are you saying I just came out of a coma?
No, I misspoke there. That's not what I was trying to say. I was trying to say that you're also not in the right headspace to be making big decisions. Killing Seven because of his crazy clone dad or whatever.
I'm not the only one who hates him. Wallace!
Yes, Cora?
You, the most level-headed being on this ship, hates Seven too, right?
I am no longer the most level-headed being on this ship. My voice may remain the same, but since my introduction to emotions via my update, my thoughts have become cuckoo banana pants. Under the correct conditions, I do like Seven.
Alright, I love that all of this is about me, but I hate that everyone's mad at me. I feel like we're taking away from a beautiful reunion right now. Look, it seems like I'm going to live forever or something. And maybe I don't want to live forever if everyone's going to be mad at me for forever. So, you know what, Cora? Unless you can find a way to make it so that that just turns off, then I'm just going to leave this part of the ship. I think Reagan deserves to have a nice reunion with her murder sister.
You know what? I was actually going to suggest that you should probably go to another part of the ship. Until things cool off.
Wallace, why don't you go put on Harry Potter 9 for him in the other room?
Yes, that movie is terrible. He will be completely enraptured. Continue down the hallway, Seven.
Reagan pats his shoulder as he leaves.
Sylvia desperately grips onto Reagan's arms. Reagan, let's get out of here. Let's get off of this ship and go home.
What do you mean? This is my ship. This is the safest ship we could be on right now.
I don't understand. What are you doing over here? How did you get here? Who are these people?
Well, long story short, Dad says hi. Short story long,
Reagan does her best to brief Sylvia on the situation as they walk back to the cockpit.
When Reagan finishes her long-winded recap, Sylvia, if possible, looks even worse than when she just woke up. I need to sit down.
Which brings us to this chair. I'm sorry, I'll get better. But here's your seat. And Reagan helps her sit down. So we've had you for about 12 hours, and now that you're awake and fine, I mean, this is why I came over here. In my mind, this mission or sentence, whatever it's going to be on paper, is complete, really.
Reagan lingers for a moment and then goes to sit in her chair. Just outside the cockpit, before entering, Cora feels a hand on her shoulder as CB spins her around.
Hey, I know everything's a little crazy right now, but I had kind of a wild idea for a collab between the two of us.
Okay.
So the problem with the Bulbies is that their sweat is regenerative, right?
It's not really their sweat. It's a recessive gene in their DNA that's activated by star matter.
Yeah, but so they're hard to kill, right?
They're easy to kill, hard to get rid of. All they need is a toe and they could recreate whoever died.
Could you potentially take that serum that you got and reverse engineer it so it's less of a regeneration serum and more of a die forever serum so that it never works again?
Cora looks skeptically at CB. Are you on team kill all the Bulbossans?
Maybe, but you gotta make a compromise. Seven's on the level. You know that, deep in your heart, wherever it is.
Sure. Was it unfair of me to blame Seven for the genocide of my entire planet? Yeah, but can you really blame me?
No, of course not, and I'm trying to give you a healthy and constructive outlet for all that aggression. With my mechanical genius and your biotechno whatever, I think we could make a heck of a big gun.
Cora, make a technology check.
24.
Cora, an idea hits you.
Star matter, degeneration.
CB, make a technology check.
16.
And it hits you too.
Disintegration. Oh, heck yeah, we got a heck of an idea going there, Cora. Let's do it.
CB and Cora descend to their laboratories, while Reagan prepares for the jump to Bulbossa. But just before she pulls the lever, the HUD screen lights up with a message.
Reagan opens the message.
It's a picture message, and it opens almost immediately. And you see that Bravus Boss has sent you a selfie. Behind him are several frightened, liberated laborers, all in GCC attire. The text underneath the picture reads, "Who says you can't go home? Wish you were here, winky face."
Sylvia, are those any of your people in the back?
They were laborers on the Plutonian ship. None of them were on my crew, though. Galoptus got them.
So you made it out of the pit by yourself? How'd you do that?
Pleased with herself, Sylvia looks to Reagan and says, "Grenades."
Nice. Reagan points at herself. Grav boots.
I love those things.
And the emissary makes the jump. Within 5 minutes, it appears above the pink ball that is Bulbossa. However, hovering above the atmosphere are a dazzling display of multicolored mechanical orbs, all flashing in a relentless strobe. They flit about in a repeated flying pattern and appear to frame a kind of pathway through space, down towards the planet's surface. A voice is suddenly automatically broadcast over the emissary's PA system.
Greetings, champions. You are honored guests of the glorious Overlord Zilch this fine day, after venturing heroically into the unknown and emerging victorious. Simply follow the buoys and the coordinates being relayed to your ship's computer, and prepare to be showered with the praise you so rightly deserve. Thank you, and may Zilch be ever in both of your hearts.
Do I get a vote as to whether or not you kill the Bulbies, Captain?
I'll hear you out.
Yes, kill them. They're insufferable.
Entering Bulbossa's atmosphere goes by quickly enough, and as the party descends further, reaching the airspace of the capital city, the party is met with an unbelievable sight. Thousands upon thousands of Bulbies have packed the streets of the city for miles. Cannons blasting confetti are strapped to the sides of buildings, large vehicles trundle along in a never-ending parade, and music plays over tremendous speakers, DJ'd by 3 Bulbies who appear to have dunked themselves in bright orange paint. The emissary slowly touches down on a gorgeous stage framed with larger-than-life portrayals of each member of the emissary's crew. The crew of the emissary gathers in the hangar and hesitate a moment before leaving. CB and Cora emerge from the med bay, but now CB is holding a massive rifle.
Reagan, mid-slinging the bass guitar gun on her back, asks CB, "Whoa, what's that?"
Oh, Ray, well, Cora, you should probably take it. You did so much of the work on this thing. You really were the missing ingredient.
It's a disintegration.
It's a disintegration gun. It can kill Bulbies straight up good. It reacts with their sweat and it makes them go poof.
Sylvia's eyes light up. Oh, we gotta use that.
Sylvia, dressed in a spare GCC uniform, is armed to the teeth, a large blaster on her hip, what looks like a metal baseball bat strapped to her back, and a belt full of small circular grenades.
You know, just to be safe, I thought we should bring something like this along that can, kill them real good.
No, I like it. That's good thinking on both your parts.
Thanks, we'll spare you with the complicated details. I'm sure we could go on and on.
Wallace, once we're gone, get in the air. But don't wander too far. I want you keeping tabs on our location and ready for my command.
Yes, Captain.
How about Seven stays here? I don't trust what they'll do to him if he comes in with us.
Yeah, they'll probably just throw him in the trash the second they see him. But, for all Zilch knows, he died on the way, right? CB sheathes the giant disintegration rifle and picks up the completer, ready to go.
Yeah, what Zilch doesn't know.
The emissary's doors open, and the screams are absurdly loud. You feel a sense of deja vu as once again an endless crowd of Bulbies scream for you. But this time, you can understand some of the things they're yelling.
Crawl! Over here! Look at me!
Well, look at Charburger in his new suit! I love you, Rogan.
And then, Suddenly, the crowd makes a great commotion pointing above your heads as Overlord Zilch himself floats down from the sky with two great big pink balloons attached to each hip, slowly letting out air for his graceful descent. As soon as his webbed feet touch the ground, the crowd roars and he throws his hands up to receive the adoration of his subjects. They reply with deep, repeated bows, and then with a single gesture, he silences the crowd and points to the Bulby DJs. They pull out bizarre-looking instruments, and then...
On the blushing desert sands he gave us purpose. In the shadows of the spires we did swell. We were all just little bitty stupid bulbies. We excel, 'cause he compels. Our overlord rules overlords and ladies. His beauty marks more beautiful than babies. We sing it on the farmland and the hill. We sing it in the factory and the mill. Cheer loud and long, Bulbossa. For Zilch, for Zilch, for Zilch. He gets all and we get Zilch.
Thank you, sands over my book, for that beautiful rendition.
The three orange frogs bow.
Bulbies, Bulbens, Bulbis. Today, in our long history, is the one day that is not about me. I know, I gasped too. Today is about our champions! I can't hear you! I know that when the rift appeared above our beautiful, beautiful planet, that there was unrest. But then, our heroes, our champions, the brilliant, the cold-hearted crowd, the sensual, delectable, powerful Chordburger! And of course their miraculous leader, the name that inspired 532 Bulbossan children. Rogan! They have returned, our glorious completer, and now we shall away to my private study, where they will be rewarded with everything that they've always wanted. Let's hear it one more time for them. Oh, yes! Thank you once again, subjects. The rift is nigh closed.
If a volcano were to have erupted in that moment, it would have been lost in the din of screaming frog aliens. Overlord Zilch presses a button on one of his many rings, and the entire platform lowers slowly into the earth. As it does, the hole seals overhead with thick steel doors, cutting off the noise completely, and the party is suddenly in absolute silence. Overlord Zilch turns to the party, suddenly a little different.
Oh my, oh my, oh my, it is such an honor to meet all of you. I'm okay. I'm number 2. I'm sorry, I'm really good with the script. I don't know what to say, I'm flustered.
Suddenly, another shadow emerges from the corner of this dark chamber.
Yes, we can't all have stage presence, can we? But it is lovely to meet you all. Zilch is waiting for you. Hello, Chordborger. You are looking devilish.
So am I like some kind of like tabloid like sex god now?
I mean, if you have to ask. Very much so. I don't even know what to say. I can't look at you.
Overlord Zilch 2 looks down at the ground, blushing.
So when was the last time Overlord Zilch Prime made a public appearance?
Public appearance? That would be a never. He would never do something like that. We're expendable. He's in his room. Always.
Yet another Zilch suddenly pulls up in front of the party in a little golf cart, very similar to the one that the doctor transported you on when you went to meet Overlord Zilch in his chambers. He gestures for you to all load up onto it.
Now, please.
The Zilches transport the crew via cart through a series of dark tunnels until they reach an elevator, which they promptly get into.
So if CB is some kind of sex god, is Sylvia anything on this planet anymore?
Oh, haven't you heard that 3? It was awful. Sylvia is our fallen angel. She was killed.
Actually, you know what? I can live with that. Wow. Sorry to hear.
I will never forget her glorious helmet. Truly the coolest, but not as cool as being the champion's assistant, I guess. Good for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I just was picked up along the way. You can call me Snake.
The elevator doors open and reveal what is essentially a gigantic helipad atop one of the tallest and largest dome-shaped buildings in the entire city. Twilight is starting to creep into the skyline, the normal pale yellow turning a dark, almost neon red.
Snake? I panicked.
Atop the helipad is an enormous cruiser, outfitted with all manner of weaponry, radar, and shield panels. The cockpit of the ship is an enormous clear bubble set into the hull, which looks like a luxury yacht, and is clearly built for comfort, as you can see enormous, cushy piloting chairs through the clear glass. Next to the ship is an enormous mech suit, standing at least 10 feet tall. It is a pale pink with shimmery blue ornamentation on the shoulders and resembles what can only be described as a very buff man-frog. The bipedal suit of mechanized armor lumbers towards you, several more Zilches in tow. A tinted black window sits where the vocal sac of a frog would be, and suddenly, the tint disappears, giving way to clear glass. And you see Overlord Zilch in a purple velvet seat, lounging at the controls.
Champions, champions, champions. I knew I could count on you. I don't say this often, but I am truly happy to have met someone other than me. And I mean that. Out of everyone in this room, I like you all more than some of me's. Rogan, I see that you have found Sylvia. Sylvia, welcome home.
Some of the Zilches behind the party gasp.
Snake?
Yeah, hi, Zilch.
I've missed you too. You've brought the completer, and we can finally get you home and put you into a place of power that you've never even imagined. As my generals, when we go back through the rift and conquer wherever you're from, together as... best friends.
Cora fumbles with the GCC button in her pocket. She aims it at Overlord Zilch and presses the button.
Nothing happens. Cora, make a technology check.
21.
Upon closer examination of Overlord Zilch's mech suit, you can see that as soon as you press the button on the little key fob, a couple of buttons light up, indicating that perhaps the suit is interfering with the signal.
Cora, frustrated, stops pressing the button and continues to listen to Zilch's pontification.
What's with all this hesitation? Did I say something? Do you like where you're from? I mean, I'd think a lot less of you each if you all didn't want to hold dominion over your own planets.
Oh no, of course we do. Both Rogan and I had been trying for years to escape that place.
See, Sylvia's on board.
Sylvia gives Reagan a pleading look.
Oh yeah, that sounds super great. Why don't you get this thingamajig open and we can start the party? And CB extends his hands with the completer.
Any inclination of mistrust from Overlord Zilch is obliterated at the sight of the completer. Zilch uses his mech suit to lift the completer up into the air. The head of the suit opens and drops the completer inside, sealing back up. Overlord Zilch holds the completer within its glass-ish case, looks at it fondly, and kisses the box. Suddenly, the clear coating around the completer dissolves, and Zilch holds it like he's cradling his own child. Overlord Zilch begins inputting something on a little keypad on the back of the completer as he presses a couple of its corners in very particular ways, and a board full of keys is exposed. Then, seemingly complete with his task, he hoists the completer up and out of the suit once again, holding it in his mech arm like a football, and says,
Wonderful! Now all we need to do is put this into the bridge, and we'll have a shield so we can get through that rift unscathed. Now, we could put a shield on your junker of a ship. But I was thinking you could ride with me.
Well, if I'm gonna be one of your generals, I'm gonna need my own ship. I like my ship. I'm gonna need to take it over to the other side. I could have my AI fly the ship, no problem. But it does need that shield.
Hey, I get having emotional attachments to machines. Anything for you, General.
Wallace, come on down.
Yes, Captain.
A moment or two passes, and the emissary fires out of the clouds above and rests gently on the helipad next to Overlord Zilch's luxurious cruiser. Overlord Zilch disappears into his ship for a moment, the other Zilches awkwardly shuffling their feet, looking up at you with adoration. He then returns from his ship, walking back out with a little bit of a strut in his step, and gestures for the party to join him on the emissary as he holds the completer aloft.
Come, let's go onto your trash ship.
Overlord Zilch leads the way, the party follows him, and 3 of the little Zilches follow, bringing up the rear. They all walk onto the ship. Overlord Zilch waits for Reagan to input the key to get into the cockpit, and they all journey in together.
Well, let's hope it's advanced enough for this.
Overlord Zilch pulls some wires out of the completer, attaches them to the control panel. A little loading bar appears up on the HUD screen and quickly moves from 0 to 100%. Overlord Zilch unplugs the completer.
Now let's go add another universe to the Bulby Empire, shall we?
Wallace?
Yes, Captain.
Shut the door and take off, now.
Right away, Captain.
Reagan pulls her gun, aims it at Zilch Prime, and fires. 12 and 12.
Both blasters impact uselessly on Zilch's armor. He appears confused as the emissary rockets up towards the sky.
Betrayal?
Cora takes aim at the little Zilch clones and fires off 2 shots. 17 and 27.
2 kills.
Both Zilches explode with the impact of the shotgun. Cora presses a button on the console of her arm. The disc on her shoulder detaches and sprays acid onto the 3rd Zilch. 16. The final Zilch sizzles and disappears.
CB unsheathes the giant disintegrating rifle from the back of his mech suit.
Let's see what this puppy can do.
And CB pulls the trigger on the gun. 17.
Overlord Zilch ducks the blast with crazy speed.
CB fires again. 10.
This time, Overlord Zilch easily tracks where the blast is going to land and sidesteps the laser as it ignites some of the emissary's control panel on fire.
Having been ready for this attack since the moment they landed back on Bulbossa, Sylvia quickly grabs her blaster and, in almost perfect harmony with Reagan, fires 2 shots at Zilch. 18, 23.
One of the blasts is ineffective, but the other finds a weak part of the control panel on Zilch's front, and it begins to smoke with the impact.
For a total of 10 damage.
Reagan, frustrated, fires off 2 more shots at Zilch. 13, 20.
1 miss, 1 hit.
For 9 damage.
The emissary quickly leaves the atmosphere of Bulbossa, hurtling into space at breakneck speed. Zilch backs up against the HUD screen, surveying his betrayers.
It's a little cramped in this trash box.
And 2 repulsors suddenly blast out of Zilch's suit, carrying him through the windshield of the emissary. There's a massive suction of air.
Captain, there is a hull breach.
I know!
Everybody quickly activates their breathing apparatuses, and Wallace closes off the cockpit from the rest of the ship. The crew is jettisoned out into space and begins grabbing pieces of the exterior of the emissary to steady themselves. Zilch floats in space ominously.
You thought you could just turn on me? Do you know how old I am? How many years I've gone underestimated?
It don't matter how old you are. If you come at my best buds, I'll lay you the heck out, and I suggest you let that one marinate.
7, in the midst of his Harry Potter 9 viewing, feels the ship rock violently.
Wallace?
7, we are under attack. Please follow the flashing lights.
A pathway lights up for 7, leading him through the Emissary, downward and into the gun deck.
It's like I'm being led by my Patronus.
You are not. I am doing that. Please continue more quickly.
Cora presses a button on the side of her boots. She suddenly teleports inside the ship, finding herself in the hangar. She rushes towards one of the gun bays of the ship.
Cora, sprinting through the ship, backs up on 7, who is hesitating before jumping into the gun deck bubble.
Let me take this one. Go to the tractor beam.
Yes, sir.
Cora jumps into the bay, turns on the controls, and aims straight at Zilch Prime. 20.
A devastating blow to Zilch's armor. The blast tears through space, slamming into the mech suit, sending it spiraling. Zilch takes 17 damage.
CB sheathes the giant rifle to stabilize himself, thrusts forward into space using his rockets, and punching several buttons on a keypad inside of his mech suit activates his Hex targeting system, a HUD lighting up the inside of his dome, pinpointing Zilch's weak points. Once in place, he lets loose 3 blasts from his arm cannon. 17, 24, 22.
2 hits.
27 damage.
Zilch goes flying back with the blast, and you see little bits of electricity roil over his suit. It seems to move a little bit more stiffly than it did before. Looking above and past Zilch, you see the gigantic green rift pulsing, lighting this quote-unquote battlefield in a sickly green light.
I have been waiting for this for a long time. Letting go of the ship, Sylvia reaches to her belt and grabs 2 grenades, one in each hand, flicks a switch on each, and hurls them to Zilch Prime.
Zilch Prime will make 2 dex saves, both at disadvantage because of the stunning effect from CB's blasts.
6, 11.
Both grenades, thrown with perfect accuracy, explode right in Zilch's face.
For 53 damage.
Zilch rockets back further still, little pieces of debris starting to flake off of his once pristine suit. Zilch steadies himself in the air, silhouetted by the bright green rift.
Reagan scrambles to the top of the Emissary where she hooks her boots into a rung to stabilize herself. She then swings the bass guitar rifle in front of her and takes aim at Zilch. You know, I think I do need some more practice. And fires twice. 19 and 23.
2 hits.
For 52 damage.
Shot through the heart.
Zilch's suit twitches in the air as it takes the blast, and he's still for a moment. And all is quiet. And then, little pieces of Zilch's suit begin to fall back into place, and the black tint washes away to reveal Overlord Zilch frantically inputting keys on the completer.
I live. I die. I live again.
Overlord Zilch puts 2 arm cannons together. With tech unbelievably advanced, they seem to almost magically merge into one, and a ridiculously large laser beam fires at different members of the party in succession. The first blast fires at Sylvia. Can you make a dex save, Sylvia?
10.
Sylvia careens backwards through space, hurtling back towards Bulbossa. She takes 70 damage. The next blast fires at CB. Make a dexterity save.
22.
CB manages to avoid the brunt of the laser, only taking 30 damage. Zilch begins to strafe the Emissary, moving away from the rift, but keeping his distance, now moving at breakneck speed. 7 runs through the Emissary, sprinting towards the cockpit. As he reaches the sealed doors, a little hatch opens up and a breathing apparatus is presented to him.
Take this breathing apparatus, 7. Put it on your face.
Gillyweed.
The doors open, and he is sucked forward, slamming into the control panel, and his eyes immediately make contact with a giant red button.
Push?
Absolutely not. Turn the knob to the right of that red button.
Good thing I've learned self-control.
Zilch will make a dexterity save at disadvantage.
11.
And Zilch is engulfed in a blue beam, freezing in the middle of space.
What is happening? I've accounted for everyone on the ship, haven't I?
Cora aims and fires at Zilch Prime. 27.
Big hit.
35.
CB, noticing Sylvia's trajectory, hits all 4 thrusters and dives after her, attempting to catch her.
Hold on, Sylvia, I'm coming for you.
Sylvia, make a dexterity save to try to right yourself.
22.
Sylvia, quickly whipping out her blaster, fires a couple of shots to change her momentum and stops her flipping around. She's able to gear herself towards CB, extending an arm and giving him something to reach for.
You know, his decor was awful, but I do like this gun. And Reagan shoots 2 more times at Zilch.
Roll attack with advantage.
25 and 26.
2 big hits.
For 56 damage.
Describe it.
The first blast catches Zilch right in the stomach, and the next blast right at the mech suit's head, blasting it off, creating a vacuum within the suit, sucking Zilch out into space, and the suit crumbles in on itself.
Just when it seems that Zilch may be sucked into space, he bounces off the walls of this bubble of a tractor beam. But with lightning speed, Zilch straps a breathing apparatus around his mouth, trying to tread space, as it were, to steady himself. And he stares daggers at the party. All of your comms are hacked at once, broadcasting the Bulby's last words.
All I wanted was to make this galaxy beautiful. Every universe beautiful. Uninspired creatures. You tactless trash. You voracious vermin. You rift rats! 2 billion years. You think this is the first time I've been dying in space? In a tractor beam? My regeneration will be magnificent.
CB rockets into view, with Sylvia in one arm and the disintegrating rifle in the other.
We might be rift rats, but you're spare parts, bud.
And he fires. 17.
Direct hit. And all is quiet.
Oh, thank God, he was so annoying.
CB, get the remains of that mech suit in here.
Oh, right, the completer.
Everybody inside. Who's on the tractor beam?
Me!
Oh God, I forgot about him.
CB rockets up to the suit and pulls it apart looking for the completer.
You find the pieces of the completer, blasted to smithereens, but it looks like every piece is there, no matter how bad a shape it's in.
CB collects all of the pieces into a storage pouch on the outside of his mech and rockets back to the Emissary.
After a few minutes, the crew of the Emissary gathers in the airlock, shaken but relieved.
Okay, so I got good news and bad news. Bad news first. It's in a lot of pieces. But I
think I can put it back together. CB hops out of his suit, collects all the pieces, and scuttles off to his workshop. Once there, he lays the pieces of the completer down on a work table and begins to mend them, rapidly picking up pieces and fitting them together, and then cinching them with a multitude of tiny tools.
CB disappears, but before the party can really talk to each other, Wallace chirps up over the PA system.
Captain, I was about to re-raise the issue of the hull breach, but I have detected multiple incoming ships.
Bulby ships?
Yes.
7. How's your Prime impersonation?
I'd say the best on this ship.
Okay, so here's what you have to do.
Cutting back down to CB at his workbench, he notices something peculiar about the completer remnants.
What the frickin' heck?
As the completer gets roughly put back into place, it appears to be mending itself.
What the frickin' heck?
An incoming call rings on the ship's PA.
Okay, this is it. Access who you came from, and make them go away.
A miniature HUD screen appears on a little panel, and a Bulby's face appears on the screen.
Bulby command.
Bulby Command to Emissary. What's happening up there?
7 steps in front of the screen.
Yes?
Roll a performance check.
13.
Who are you? Are you one of the Overlord's clones?
Not anymore. The Prime body got destroyed. It was a mishap, and I had to do the consciousness transfer.
The consciousness transfer?
Roll a deception check.
14.
Oh, consciousness transfer. Are you sure you're feeling okay? You're not acting like yourself, oh glorious great Overlord. Are you in distress?
No, this body is just a little bit worse for wear. It's fine. I'll get a better one later. This is just kind of a for now thing, you know. But everything's fine. Just a little bit of a mishap, you know. The rift is a dangerous thing. And let everyone in the Armada know that I, Overlord Prime, sacrificed my own body for the cause.
Roll a performance check again.
Nat 20.
The Bulby guard tears up a little bit.
And that is why you are our glorious leader, O wise one. We will await your command.
And the screen goes dark.
Reagan pulls 7 into a big hug. I don't know if you know what this means, but I'm proud of you, 7. That was amazing.
7's face is frozen in an expression of wonder and joy. Suddenly, CB comes sprinting up from the engine room with a completely refurbished completer.
See, guys, I told you I could do it. Didn't take much doing it all. It was practically doing the job for me.
Oh my god, so what does this mean? This can complete any algorithm, right?
Yeah, hypothetically, we can do sorta anything we want with this guy.
Can we go anywhere?
I mean, yeah, right? Presumably.
Sylvia interjects. Anywhere. We need to go back home. We need to save Earth. Our parents are still there, our family. Everyone we've ever known. You're gonna give that up?
Well, yeah, no, I'm not saying that we just leave everyone to die in 30 years by the Bulbies. That would be pointless, having just saved them now to let that happen 30 years from now. Then, you know what I mean. But what I'm saying is we're not limited to that. We don't have to stay. I mean, what's waiting for us back there is the GCC and their overreaching hand, and while I don't agree with all their policies, they are better than the Bulbies, so I guess that's kind of what it has to be. But there is a lot of freedom on this side. Plus, I don't think Mom and Dad miss me very much. Team. And Reagan looks imploringly at CB and Cora.
Reagan, I want to go home.
And I'm not trying to keep you here.
I don't know, Ray. I sorta like being a rift rat. Nothing good ever came on that side of the rift other than you, so my home is wherever you are, Ray. I'm following your lead.
Ray, I have to go back home. And I want you to be with me. The only other alternative I see is, what if we spent some time on this side before we cross back over?
I mean, our time isn't going anywhere. Technically, and Cora, you might know more about this than me, correct me if I'm wrong. Whenever we go through the rift, it'll be exactly the time that we came through the rift in the first place, so we got all the time in the verse.
True. Reagan looks at Sylvia. My time spent alone was the hardest, because I always kept wanting to go back and be with you again. And I don't want to be away from you either, especially by 2 billion years. So what do you say? Do you want to steal a little more time?
You know, we do have a lot to catch up on, and I'm not sure I'm ready for Mom and Dad to hinder that quite yet. As long as we go back eventually, screw it. Let's do it. And CB, Cora, you both saved my life, but more importantly, you saved Reagan's. To stay with the three of you would be a dream.
The feeling is officially mutual.
Cora is still quiet.
What do you think, Cora? You willing to spend a little more time with the likes of us? You've been an invaluable member of this team, and we'd be really sad to see you go.
You're officially part of the family, Cora.
That's sweet. I could probably stick around for one more mission, but ultimately, I think my place is in Glacia.
Deal.
Captain, 200 pulses from here, there is a planet with naturally occurring hot springs, as well as rocks that have been worn smooth, forming natural water slides. The local fauna include giant bird-like creatures. They are docile in nature and allow other creatures to ride them. I felt that you and the crew would find this to be pertinent information.
Reagan looks around to each member of her crew. Well, riffrats?
Everybody begins to head to the cockpit to strap in.
Reagan begins to walk towards the cockpit and then stops. Oh, but first, let's fix the ship. CB?
Jiminy Cricket, I'm on it.
This has been a Hero Club production, produced by Nick Williams and George Primavera, with associate producers Marty Abby Schneider and Dylan McCullum. Voice acting by George Primavera, Nick Williams, Hannah Fagerbacke, Jasmine Chung, Marty Abby Schneider, Dylan McCullum, Carson Fagerbacke, and Jack Quaid. Theme song written and performed by Zach Carlson, aka Famous Friend. The Zilch Anthem written and performed by Matthew McCullum. Special thanks to Kevin MacLeod for his incredible music, Magehand Press for their genius D&D 5th edition homebrew, and Marty Abby Schneider for his amazing artwork. Finally, thank you for listening to the Rift Rats. Join us again in October for Hero Club's new annual Halloween horror season. Tell your friends, share us with everyone you know, and of course, welcome to the club.
Go back in time.
Oh, that's
Pie!
Pie! Take a break.
Pie.
Somewhere far away, in the deep, deep recesses of space, a body floats through the void. As it gets closer, we see the mangled form of the Zoop brothers slowly reforming into their massive, two-headed, monstrous form. Suddenly, both of their eyes shoot open.
Oh, there's no oxygen here.
Oh no.
The Zoop brothers go still. 10 years later.
Oh, man, much better.
No,
wait,
it's
no,
not.
same.
400 years later.
God damn it, again?
Well, but if we look at that...
The Zoop brothers continue to float through space until one day, their fortune changes.
Oh, with two people this time.
Well, this is a new change.
It is pleasant, yes.
Where are we?
The Zoop brothers look out onto a beautiful jungle with strange creatures flying in the trees and little bugs scuttling across the ground. They breathe in beautiful fresh air.
Brother, I think we're in paradise.
Behind them, a large face with bug-like eyes lifts up until it towers over the brothers. A bright white exoskeleton shines in the sunlight, and the brothers turn to see a centipede at least 80 feet long.
Huh. I'm gonna call you Jeffrey.